Hey guys, it's Todd, Ladi, and Mark from Like Minded Lunatics bringing you, it's another drink, play, swear. It's all we do around here. I mean, besides having a life where we were always hoping to get invited to the party, but only sometimes did, that's all we've ever really done around here. Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Like Minded Lunatics, and welcome back to Drink, Play, Swear. Bang! If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. And Mark showed them some great stuff on the channel to click that's not Drink, Play, Swear.
Yep, we'll do it right here.
Beautiful. If that's all they're, knowledgeable about, broaden the horizons a little bit. So what do we do here at Drink, Play, Swear? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. We play a game, usually a classic one. Today, classic in the sense that it's old, but just spoiler alert, fucking garbage game. Okay. And we have beverages and we tell stories. So here we are, and October is a great time for storytelling, whether it's scary stories or fun stories from Halloween's past. Mark, what are we drinking here?
This is actually a special beverage, Todd.
Okay.
So this is a Moody June gin from Bone Spirits that are now out of business. They used to be down in Smithville. It is my favorite gin from Texas, and you can no longer get it.
Well, thank you for sharing it with me.
And so Halloween always makes me feel nostalgic.
Aww.
And I thought we would share this beverage. I've got like maybe 2 cups of it left.
Well, cheers. Thanks for
Cheers.
sharing. And Ladi, what do you got?
I got Dr. Pepper.
Another Texas classic.
Another Texas
And
classic.
the best damn cola around.
I think so too.
Yeah, all right, get yourself something while we get ready to play Monster Party. All right, I'm going to get us started here.
Please.
So you can kind of see the vibe.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why I selected this is the protagonist in this game is Mark.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, we all get to be Mark.
Mark walking home from a ball game.
No one wants that.
He looked up and saw a bright star. Well, this is like the game's storytelling before we get to your stories. Look at this.
The star got bigger and bigger.
It sure did. And can we skip ahead? Yeah, we can skip ahead.
Oh, Jesus.
We won't have time for the storyline.
Okay,
There's a monster, and if you're helping the monster out, you're going to be able to turn into the monster.
Are we helping the monster? The monster's a good monster.
He's a good alien gargoyle monster.
Okay, I like him.
I like this.
All right, so as I get started, Mark, I'd love for you to start your story.
Yep.
And then I'm going to pass this off to Ladi in a moment.
Yep.
But just to acclimate you to the old NES controls, A is your jump.
Which one is A?
Here.
That's A.
That you can tell he doesn't play games. Which one is A?
Yeah.
And B is fire or attack. Sometimes you're this kid with a baseball bat, Mark.
Yep.
Sometimes you are a monster.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pass this off. You can play around in the game. And then, Mark, I'd love you to get us started. I just asked these guys like some old Halloween stories or old memories that they'd love to share as we celebrate October. What do you got?
So, both of y'all know this. Ladi, I told a story at Merlin Works. Ladi is a teacher there, teaching storytelling classes. And I went and I told a story there about working at the Museum of Horrors in Elmont, Texas.
I love this. I want to hear 100 more of these stories.
As a teenager. It was my first professional job. And it was my first...
Professional in quotes.
In quotes, yeah. That didn't have to deal with cow shit. First job that didn't have to deal with cow shit. And I met all kinds of people I wouldn't have met otherwise. And the guy who owned it was a guy named Johnny Darkness. His real name is John Anderson. And you can look him up online. Have I told you this before? I don't know that I have.
You've told me about him in the past. Last Halloween, you talked just briefly about your experience. I didn't know his name, but
Yeah.
I'm aware of him.
So if you're driving north on I-35,
Okay?
after Waco, before West, you'll come across the Museum of Horrors. Now, the interesting thing about Johnny Darkness is he had done all kinds...
He's holding a cigar.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
smelling like whiskey and coffee and ass, kind of. He smelled terrible. He played with latex and paint all day, and he didn't bathe regularly. So
Boss battle.
Oh my gosh.
Go on.
Is that an Audrey 2?
Yep.
So the interesting thing about John is about 3 years ago, pandemic time, 5 years ago.
Okay.
He was in an internet argument with a guy from Virginia, and John called the guy on the internet a nerd and photoshopped that guy's face onto, what's his name, from Revenge of the Nerds, and posted it in a forum. That gentleman got upset with John.
Okay.
And he drove from, I think it was Virginia or North Carolina, to Elmont and threw a Molotov cocktail through John's trailer house window and burned his trailer house down.
That's a commitment.
That is a commitment, and you can look that up online.
I'm the monster here.
Just Google John Anderson nerd, and it's the first Google hit. But working in the
Because it was covered in local papers?
it was covered everywhere. Literally, Gizmodo covered it, HuffPost covered it. It was
Beautiful.
all over the place because it was such an absurd story.
And you knew him when?
Yeah, way back when. And the haunted house was fantastic.
Sorry, I'm dead.
It was good knowing you, Mark.
Oh my goodness. All right, I feel like it's Lottie's turn.
All right,
Lottie has to tell a story.
passing the game on to Mark while Lottie gets going.
Have y'all ever heard of the show Dark Shadows?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Dark Shadows was must-see TV for me as a kid. Went home to see it every day. Fell in love with the werewolf. The werewolf was my favorite. I always loved werewolves.
Yes.
But you know they made movies. House of Dark Shadows?
Yes.
Did you see House of Dark
No,
Shadows?
I don't know it. No.
Did you see?
I did not. Mom did. Mom loved Dark Shadow.
So what was was there a big difference?
Well, the big difference is Barnabas in the show is the good guy. I mean, he's a vampire. He kills people. But aside from that, it's a good guy. It's
Yeah,
a show.
he's got a heart.
And you like him, and he's pleasant. Barnabas is the guy you root for. In the movie, he's the meanie.
Oh, was that right?
Yeah, so in the movie, I go to see this expecting to see Barnabas be the hero, do whatever he does, and it turns out he's the one that's killing everybody in the family.
Oh, no.
And so now, when I go home, I have nightmares for the next 2 months because someone who was my friend is now my enemy. And I'm afraid of him. And it was
terrifying.
horrible. It was horrible.
Oh,
It was-
boss battle, Mark.
Oh my God, get him.
You got to hit him in the head or hit his little pumpkins into his big pumpkin.
How do you get his little pumpkins? Oh, those are the little pumpkins. Get him.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't understand this at all.
I don't know what's happening. Todd,
This is what happened.
I mean, you died. Look,
Mark,
and
again.
the NES is famous for being against blood in those early days.
Right.
NES, Super Nintendo. This is one of the rare times where you get a pool of blood with skeletons in it. Very controversial for 1989.
it is pretty
I'm
graphic.
going to say something. That does not even resemble a pool of blood.
No.
It's just a lot of red.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
But isn't that funny that because parents back then, in previous videos here at Like Minded Lunatics when we were doing music reactions, we've talked about the satanic panic and everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is exactly like when you were talking about parents' fears of Ozzy.
Right.
And how sort of comically
Stupid they were.
goofy
Yes.
Ozzy could be, and what's there to fear,
Yeah.
And I feel like that with this game. Like, if any parent ever watched any of this gameplay and was like, my child will worship Satan, it's just obscene.
It's just absurd.
Their fear is obscene in that situation.
It's funny that you're mentioning
Ricky is
Barnabas.
here. Do
Yeah.
you guys hear Ricky? I love it. He's laughing.
It's funny that you're mentioning Barnabas because I do remember. This is going to
You
sound.
had a kid named Barnabas?
No, I remember as a kid.
Oh,
This is going to sound.
Wouldn't that be great if we all learned today while playing this bad game that Mark had a child we didn't know about?
He lives in Mount Calm. He's a brake repairman.
Yeah, that tracks.
I remember as a kid being excited to go see the Transformers film, and I'm sure Todd will back me up on this.
Quick, empty. Go on.
Is this an actual room?
Yeah,
Why would they bother?
Transformer film.
I remember watching as Optimus Prime was killed. And I can only imagine that watching Barnabas, who you thought was the hero, start killing people, and then watching my hero die on screen within the first 15 minutes of the film.
Yeah, and
It was just soul crushing.
And to find out that was just because, well, they'd sold a bunch of Optimuses. They needed a new hero.
Right.
So they could sell more toys.
Yeah.
It didn't even occur to them that this stuff mattered to us.
Well, my question is, why would they turn Barnabas into a bad guy then?
they didn't. I don't know. I don't have a good answer. It's not my movie.
Look at this. I'm fighting a.
I'm keeping you on
fly.
the theme of vampires. Yeah, you've all seen Dracula, right? The original Dracula.
Yes.
Yes, the Universal.
You know the opening music is Swan Lake, right?
Yes.
I did not know that.
didn't
I thought it
know
was
that.
the theme of Dracula. So my mother takes me somewhere to watch the Nutcracker. Okay, and I'm going. I am afraid. I am afraid. Why are we watching this? Why are they
Beautiful
dancing to such horrible
Swan
music?
Lake.
This is so scary. And my mother's like, "What is wrong with you? This is classical music. This is." I said, "No, it's Dracula's theme."
He's coming. He must be here.
So she they didn't pay attention to things. I paid attention. I knew that this was Dracula's music.
Talking about paying attention to scary things.
Okay.
So one of the guys in the haunted house, he played Hannibal Lecter, and his room was actually a hallway, and you would walk into the hallway, and in the middle of the hallway was a jail cell. And to cross it, you could go on either side, but you only had about 1.5 feet. And so when you entered the hallway, he would be in the jail cell, and he controlled the lights with a switch down by his side. And you would walk in, and he would leave the lights on until you saw him, and then he would turn them off. And then there was a secret hole in the side where he could get out, and then he would turn the lights back on, and he would be gone.
Don't trust secret holes.
And he would do, that's right. And he would do it off and on, and then you would have to cross it. It's the only way. You'd have to go, and then obviously he'd be behind you, chasing you. So at the end of every night at this haunted house, we would walk from the haunted house. We would close at midnight. We would walk over to the truck stop, and we would have breakfast after the thing was over.
Sure.
And every night, the guy who played it, Jeff, would be sitting there by himself talking, or everybody else would be talking. He would be by himself listening to his little headset. And he'd be like, "What are you listening to, Jeff?" And he had recorded people's screams throughout the night. And so he'd be sitting there reviewing screams, trying to memorize which ones were the greatest. So at the end of the season, he could make a compilation of screams. So at the end of every Halloween season, he would have a tape of people's screams that he would put together.
These are the reasons I don't want to go to a haunted house. People like the sound of
He was an otherwise normal human being.
It's like on one hand, I'm afraid of this man, and on the other hand, I appreciate his commitment to craft.
Right, that's right. He's peer reviewing himself.
He sure is.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us, you guys. And hey, here at Drink Place Where we finish our beverages. You don't have to chug a Dr. Pepper. Don't worry about it. There's way too much carbonation. But Mark, you do have to get it together here. In between now and the next time we talk to you,
You get it together.
we are Todd, Mark, and Ladi. I'm never going to get it together.
That's right.
Here's to it.
Adios.
See ya.